Hey guys, today we are talking about sphere of influence, maintaining relationships and through the holiday season, and also working what's moving, what's high likelihood at the same time. So how can we nurture our relationships and identify the farm within the farm, Haley, that has a high likelihood of moving in these months?
Yeah, well, we gave this a little teaser on our social, and we had so many responses with it, like, tell me more. What is the farm within the farm? Right. We all know we need to be nurturing our sphere. If you have a farm of 500 homes that you're hitting consistently and you're doing that, but sometimes it gets to a point where it's like, I've been sending these mailers, nobody's calling me right now. Like, am I doing the right things? Well, you may not just be targeting the right people. So when we talk about your farm within your farm, we have different tools and technology through Tycor Tech, through our different sources, where you could take your sphere of influence farm that you have in your spreadsheet with their addresses and everything, import that into it, and it'll actually identify some of these distressed or some of these real next likelihood sellers within your farm. So
like example.
Yeah, I was gonna ask you that. So I was gonna say, so when we say distressed, like, what are we talking about?
In general, there's a life change that's dictating a housing change. So I like it because as we go into, turkey in the oven season, Thanksgiving, Christmas, New Year, holidays, right? You got the Bermuda Triangle.
People even go say Super Bowl's a holiday. We go till February.
Well, men have their birthday and the Super Bowl. That's what we get. So congratulations. At least we have something. But as we enter the Bermuda Triangle of the holiday season, we get to spend time, have happy hours, have holiday parties, and nurture these relationships, which is important. This is a long game. We need to nurture those relationships, get way past the trust barrier so that when real estate or when an opportunity to utilize our services comes along, it's such a deep-rooted relationship. There's just no question.
Right.
But while we're in, and not a lot of people wanting to move with a turkey in the oven or lights on the house, right?
Oh yeah, we talk about that all the time.
So the farm within the farm is you can go and take your 300 past clients and find the 12 or the 32 or the 50 that have a divorce, a bankruptcy, a probate, an affidavit of death, a notice of default, a tax delinquency, some form of change happening at a life level that is going to kind of presume a housing change, right? It's going to it comes with it because it's such a big swing in their lives that's dictating some kind of a housing change. So being aware of that doesn't mean you go knock on their door and say, you're getting divorced. I can help, sell your house. No, but the intel helps. That maybe frequency, maybe you grab a beer with a guy that you haven't talked to since before COVID, what's going on. That intel can help you who to target for right now business. Right.
Well, you nailed it. I mean, during this time when the tree's up, lights are on the house, things are going on, people are in their homes hosting, they're going to other houses. They necessarily aren't like, you know what, you called it the perfect time. We actually are going to have a job transfer in spring. We're ready to go right now.
They're settling into enjoying the home.
Most people are like, let's just get through the holidays, right? I talk about that all the time. I'm like, let me just get through the holidays.
I mean, we love them, but we love them to be gone
I love
too.
them. I love spending time with my family. I love getting to the snow, the quietness of it. I love the holiday. Well, quietness when I'm up at my parents' house in the snow, not the hustle and bustle down here. But, we all talk about that where it's like nobody's really looking to sell at that time. However, unfortunately, there's always people that are going through life changes like death, divorce, bankruptcy, unable to really afford their home and notice a default, notice a trustee sales, these things that come up where it is something that they're going to have to take care of. And it is something that's not just going to go away. So right now, what is it, November 15th today? 12th?
The 14th.
What day is it?
This is not an evergreen video.
No. So November, well, I'm just saying now would be a great time to upload that list in your sphere, see who might have a divorce decree or something triggered on their property, hit them up to go have a glass of wine, go to lunch. Hey, Uncle Ryan, I haven't talked to you in forever. Let's catch up before we have to go see each other all the time within the holidays. Let's just get together and you guys meet. And then what if he's like, you know what? I'm probably not going to be able to make it to Christmas this year. Me and your aunt
we're going through it.
We're not really going to be able to make it out. So like, I'm glad you reached out to me because I don't know if I'll be able to be there.
Yeah.
Now you don't go in and be like, oh man, that sucks. Well, I'm a realtor. That's what I've done. I can help sell your house.
Yeah.
And you know what? Screw her. I really didn't like her anyways. Whatever. We don't need to do that.
Definitely don't lead with that.
No.
Let them bring it to that.
Exactly.
Right?
But at least, like you said, you have that intel. And doing that with the sphere, doing that within your farm of people that you're already targeting, having those conversations of just like, hey, let's go grab lunch. Let's go out to have a drink. Or even if it's a farm that you hit regularly, that's not your sphere, you could just do maybe an extra mailer to somebody in that farm or extra email.
Yes, I love the applications of it, right? So whatever grouping, whatever avatar, whatever audience that we are sending our solution message to, right? Our audience is realtors, commercial brokers, lenders, community bankers. Our solution is help and title services, lead generation, and data and concepts that will move the needle in their business, right? That's us. So for the realtor, it's friends, family, people that have transacted with them. So that's a grouping.
Yeah.
So out of that 200-300 people, what group within that group falls into one of these categories of a high likelihood seller because of this major life change? But also the farm. There's 250 people you mail to in XYZ building or XYZ area. Well, there's going to be a percentage of them that fall into one of these categories. Let's identify it. Not so that we can beat them over the head with their hardship, right? They are aware of their hardship. But so that when you find yourself at the holiday party or our neighborhood does this pool activity with cookies and the kids
you may be spending a little more extra time with that person.
You might like pick them out of the crowd and go a little deeper with them, right? Open the door a little more because of what you know is going on. And look, we're in this business to help people.
Yeah.
Right? We are in this, and
Absolutely.
this is a dark chapter. One of these life changes, it's a pretty dark chapter. It's a hardship. It's a distress. It doesn't mean it's fun. But the other way to look at it is diamonds, diapers, divorce, death, all the D's in real estate.
I was actually just going to say that. I was going to say,
so it could be good too.
We have those kinds of form of distress, which are pretty easy to identify. And then the diapers, diamonds, those kind of things. Facebook has all that monitoring for us. We can tie that in. But then there's also other forms where people might just have some life changes, like the silver tsunami. People that have lived in their property 45 plus years have no mortgage.
So what's the silver tsunami, like, in case we haven't heard that term?
Yeah, so people that have lived in their home, right? The statistic actually shows the year time is 45 years. Okay. I would probably start targeting them a little sooner than that in case they've had any thoughts. So maybe like 35 to 45 years. And then 2 stories, people that, they might have bedrooms they haven't gone into in years. They might be saying this house is way too big for me. I
haven't been upstairs in since COVID.
They might be spending Thanksgiving alone. Like they might not be having people for them. They might have had
That's real stuff.
That's real things. Like people, I know when people get older and people have passed and maybe their families in different states or things like that, it's hard to spend time with them. So, maybe they're like, maybe I'm ready to go into a community where there's going to be other people I can spend this time with at that. So, it's not just the hardships of life, but there's
just
also
transition
points. Exactly. Transitional phases, transitional chapters people go through where it dictates different housing changes.
Yeah.
So maybe they got 2 kids and you realize they got 3 coming and they're in a 2-bedroom condo. Like they might need to be moving up.
Well, and I think that, look, this can sound an awful lot like opportunistic thinking, right? Like, like I'm preying on these people that we find in a weak kind of position. And that's not the case whatsoever. What we're talking about is empathy. Empathy. What are they going through? How can I be of service to them? Now, are some going to have their head in the sand and they're just praying for it to go away? And if I ignore it, it'll go away, right? A lot of people deal with issues that way. And this is just being available if they're available.
Yep.
Like based on what you know, pouring into them, offering a solution, and if they take you up on it, awesome.
And they may not. They may not take you up on it.
And you can love, and you can still be kind, and you can wait,
and
right?
you can see when somebody comes along that they are able to trust, because it's hard with families sometimes too. Like you're not going to be the first person they tell they're going through a divorce or that they can't afford their bills.
There's embarrassment, all that.
And so if they do decide to go with someone else, you have to love them through that process of like, hey, you know what, this is the best thing for you to do, and I'm glad you found somebody that you trusted to be able to take you through that process.
Exactly.
Because they can still refer you. They can tell you, I'm so sorry, Ryan. I didn't use you because you're my nephew. I've watched you grow up, and I just felt like that was too close.
I needed to go away from family.
I felt that was a little too close, but I know, I'm going to refer you. Like, I got people, I'll hook you up. Like, they're still going to hook you up in some kind of way.
Exactly.
So it's having that empathy and we've talked to so many people. We've seen the coaching courses. We've seen the trainings of slap the paperwork on their door of the notice of default and all this. Like, you don't think they know?
Like the bank's been trying to slap the
know.
notice on.
They know they're going through some kind of hardship. Or the probate, or they know they lost somebody, or they know they're pregnant. They know they got engaged. Like all the other good fun ones too.
Yeah.
But that's what we're talking about when you want to identify the farm within the farm. So instead of just like the mass shotgun approach, which we all need to do, it's also really good to have a laser focus on sniper focus on who might actually really be needing your services within the next few months.
And I love it because it applies to your sphere, to your farm, to your surf buddies, to your church buddies, to all the groupings that you market to. You need to remain top of mind and keep those relationships nurtured. And the ones that are within that you happen to know based on the availability of data today are going through one of these scenarios, then just dive a little deeper, right?
Exactly.
And then that's because that's right now business. So now you're doing the maintenance work, like the farming for the veggies and stuff, but then you're still doing the hunting where you can kill and eat tonight, right? That's what the difference.
Yeah.
And so it's something to keep in mind as you pass through these holiday seasons, is have an awareness and be jovial and be kind and be top of mind and do your marketing at the high level, general top of mind awareness level, but then have an idea of who you might want to spend an extra 5 minutes with at the holiday party, because you know that they lost the company and they're filing bankruptcy. That is not a lot of fun, but you know that about them, so you don't have to beat them over the head with that, but you can talk to them.
If you see him taking a couple more extra shots over at the bar or something, like maybe go be like, hey, what's up?
Right?
How are you? Like, you want to go sit somewhere else and chat? I noticed you've been drinking over here. You know, like there's other ways to notice things, but like you said, being caring about it and being empathetic. So many of us that we see in this industry, they go straight for the jugular and like straight to the pain point, which there's a time and place that we know of in other business places and things for that. But when people are going through really dark chapters of their life, that would be the last thing that you would want. You
just want to create space for it. And if it evolves, then great. And if it's not, and a lot of people won't, respond, or over time they might, but just I think you have an eye towards the maintenance and an eye towards the right now. And that's something that we can all be better about in going through the holiday seasons, because it's easy to get distracted. It's easy. The mall has this pull on us right now. We got to go shopping. We got to be at
all of
events.
It's online now.
We got to be, okay, you know what I mean.
Like, if you go to the mall during the holidays, you are crazy.
Well, this is the, oh my God, what am I getting for my wife, my mom, my sister?
Yeah, I guess there's that. There's that.
Yeah.
I always tell myself I'm going to get ahead of the game and start shopping. So maybe this is the year that I start doing that, like, as soon as Black Friday happens.
Well, I think we're just under 2 weeks from Turkey Day, which makes us like 5 weeks, 6 weeks, something like that from Christmas.
I think we mentioned it last time. It was like 7 Fridays or something like that.
Clock's
we don't need to talk
ticking.
about that. But let's talk about going back into the farm within your farm.
So that's what the farm within the farm is. If you have any questions about that, if you want to put strategies together around that, if you just want to deal with the concept and get granular on how that applies to you and your business, that's what we're here for.
How we can show you how we can apply it within your sphere and within your farm. So
absolutely,
hit us up for that. We're so thankful and appreciative to be on your team.
All right. Until next time.
I'm Haley.
I'm Ryan.
Bye.
Bye.